So here I am with the amazing Flirtations in the house. Pearly.
Hi.
Ernestine.
Hello.
Shirley.
Hi.
You girls, we've worked together before, and you span several decades of great music from USA to England. I know a lot of people want to ask you this question. How did you get together?
Wow. We came together because I knew Ernestine and Shirley's sister, and she was asking me what was I doing, and I told her I was singing in a nightclub in New York. And then she said, I sing, my sisters and I, we sing. Matter of fact, we're going into Manhattan next week. Would you like to come with us? And that's how I met them. We went on the train, that wonderful train into Manhattan, and met, was Randy the manager then?
Randall Stewart, yeah.
Was your manager then? Yeah, Randall Stewart at the Fiestas, and that was it.
So was it love at first sight, or was it like, how did you guys click straight away? Because I work with Doc, and I clicked with Doc like that.
Just like that, yeah.
Did you guys click like that?
I think we did, yeah.
Yes, we did.
Because when Vi first met my sister Betty, they were good friends before she introduced us to,
No, only about a week.
Well, good friends. They acted like the best
we had known
friends.
each other,
yeah, forever.
Yeah.
And when we met, I thought it was a good fit. The four of us.
Right.
So
You span music from when I would say it was at its in many different peaks, because black music has gone up, it's dipped, it's gone up, it's dipped. People remember the great Motown days, and you were kind of created with an idea of challenging that Motown domination. Was it the Supremes?
The Supremes.
The Supremes,
yes.
Right. What did you think of the Supremes, and what did you think about the fact that you were there to challenge them?
Also the 3 Degrees.
And the 3 Degrees.
They were later.
yeah, they were later,
But
no.
I'm gonna say how we felt, how I felt that the management department, it was a challenge for them. They wanted to do it. They wanted to come up against Motown. And Randy and Ray Evans, they were great partnership together, and they had great ideas, and they worked with J.J. Jackson.
Jackson, yeah,
who wrote fantastic songs, and from that point of view, yeah, and that was the only level of coming up against Motown. It was. We were different. We looked different. We weren't Motown in the beginning when they started out with the Supremes. I'm sure I'm fair to say the Supremes were not introduced to the business as 3 black singers. They were introduced as 3 black women that were crossed over to white, because that's where the money was. And that was our competition. We were doing strict R&B, and they were doing pop.
Yeah.
So they were first catering to American Bandstand and the Ed Sullivan Show. But no, we were coming in and saying, right on, we want to do the Apollo, we want to do the Brooklyn Fox, all that stuff, you see, So it's like different,
That's amazing, because, a lot of the times when I go around the world, I interview many great people, and I've worked with you guys over the years, and your voices are amazing. What I wanted to ask you was, do you have a favorite style? Do you have a favorite vibe? That was the first question. And then the second one was, was it a natural balancing act of your tones and whatever, or did you sort it out? I'm going to do this part, or did it just kind of fall into place that, Ernestine would be taking the lead most of the time in certain things, or that's how it seemed? How did that all work out, please?
Well, when the group first started, I was lead singer, but when Randall Stewart and Ray Evans became our manager, and we started singing songs to be released, my sister Betty, they thought that she had the better voice, more commercial voice. So she took the leads on most of the songs. And then after Betty, it was Shirley. So I was sort of pushed back, although if I was the lead singer, I was pushed all the way back to the back. My sister Betty did most of the songs, and then Shirley. So I got to sing one song, and Vi didn't get to sing any. So, you know, we went with it because we didn't know, we thought that he knew better because he was a member of the Fiestas, you know.
He did.
And he was a successful recording artist, so we went with that, you know. And for as harmonies are concerned, we just sort of fell into the harmonies. We started to sing.
Every voice, had its own place.
Yeah, we started. So Randall said, "Betty sing ABC, and girls sing this," and we just hit it, you know. So I was top, Shirley was middle, and Vi was bottom. So it was a natural thing.
The way they have this very unique 3-part harmony. I mean, you can't make that.
Yeah.
You know, it either works or it doesn't, and it's not about being pitch perfect either. It's about blending,
Yeah.
you
Yes,
know, and tone and all these different things. It's a bit of magic that comes together.
Yeah.
When you guys get together and you start to do your harmonies, it's a different kind of vibe. It's completely different. And what was it like the first time you heard that? Was it like, oh, this is really good, or was it like, you know, or was it like, okay, we expect that to be the case? Or,
Oh no! I just thought, wow, we sound fab. You know, that's what I thought, because everything had changed around, you know. So I was now singing harmony, and then Vi was a new voice in the mix. So it was completely different, and it sounded fantastic, you know. And that was the Flirtation sound until we came to London, and then because Betty was no longer with us, everything changed around. I became lead singer, and well, then everybody took lead really, but I did most of it. And still harmonies, we still did like the backing. I would do the lead, but we'd still do the 3 parts. So we still had that sound in the background, you know. Yeah.
So you mentioned coming to London because this is mostly where you stay now, right?
Yes.
London is your home now, although, you know, your voices are definitely American, if I can say South American, almost gospel, R&B and soul, but you're based in London.
Yes.
I mean, which, let's be honest, they don't really get it, but they get it. They love it. They don't really get it, but they understand it, because your voices, which I try to explain to people, they don't always understand it. Your voices, your sound, our sound, comes from joy and pain.
Yes.
You know, mostly probably pain. You know what I mean? And angst, and that's what gives us that soul, that vibe, and that comes from hundreds of years of slavery. Let's get it out there, right? And other things, but it also comes from our culture. You know, like in Africa, we have these voices. We sing when we eat. We sing when we cook. We sing when we don't. We sing everything.
When you work.
Yeah, we sing when we work. Right? It got us through the day.
Absolutely.
So now you're in the UK. Now people are getting into the flirts, right? And I think it was Nothing But a Heartache was really your first kind of
American cash box hit.
yeah to kind of kick here, wasn't it? Really, right?
And all over Europe.
And how did you find that transition? How did you find the people took you here? How did you find England?
We loved it. That's why we're still here.
Yeah.
We absolutely loved it. You know, what I love about being in England is that when they like you, they like you. But when they don't mess around and pretend. They just not. I'm not interested. I'm not interested. But the love of music that the Brits have, and I say Brits because there's a whole lot of you, it's just amazing. They would give up dinner to go to a good concert. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They would stay sober at a big festival just to hear the artists that they're paid so much money to come see. But other than that, living in the UK is I say I'm going to speak for when we first arrived. It was so different that we loved it. We didn't know quite why we loved it. Well, I knew why I loved it,
Yeah, we
but
know,
I don't
yes.
think that they quite understood. You know, 'cause they were living in New York, and I had just come from Alabama, so I knew why I was here. You understand? So, but other than that, yeah, it was good. People embraced us, and I feel that we delivered. You know, we were very fortunate to find these amazing songwriters, Tony Waddington and Wayne Bickerton. And then we had this amazing arranger, Johnny Harris, who was, you know, we approached it at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, not only were you appreciated then, you appreciate it now. You're still doing it. That's a blessing. We know in our game, if you can last a long time and still do what you love, is the best thing. and you've had, there's almost like an alter ego to you, like you're like Simon Templar, and then you've got James Bond, and because there's pearly gates, right? There's that whole pearly gate thing, which a lot of people don't even know is part of the Flirts.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying to you? It's weird, pearly gates, and and then there's Viola Billups.
Then immediately they're associated with
Flirt, which is very, it's very difficult to do that, but very clever to do that, to give yourself that, that alter ego, so you can almost double your exposure, and help the band and help yourself and whatever, and move forward. And now, I mean, I was looking at some stuff on Wikipedia, looking at your, the hits and the stuff that you've had, and the relationship that you've had and so forth. And one of the things is we did a track with you called Time, right? Which I know if we go down, great Northern Soul hit, if we go down Northern Soul, we'll go Time, they love it. But I'm looking on Wikipedia and it's not in there.
Really?
It's not in there. And I was thinking, you can't believe everything you read, because people will read Wiki and it'll say, your hits in the UK are A, B, C, D, E, but it doesn't mention Time. That was a big hit for you.
Exactly, it was one of my favorite songs.
And it's still, I mean, I wrote that specifically
Absolutely.
with you in mind.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going on trumpet on that one, and we ain't done yet. We got some stuff coming up.
Absolutely.
We ain't done yet, but I remember when I was doing Time, me and Doc were in the studio, and he gave me this groove, and I wrote this, and I said, this is the Flirtations, bro. And
you came into my office.
Yeah, I said,
and you said, do you have a minute?
Yeah.
And I said, for what? You said, I want to play you something. And Peter was at the desk, and you were sitting there being the executive producer. And I came in there being the manager of many people. And I sat and I listened to this song. And the minute it started, is exactly what happened is that this present project went into the first 4 bars, and I went, Flirtations.
Yeah.
And you both went, I said, Flirtations. We got to do this. And it took us about 2 weeks to get that together? We told, because T and Ferdy was in the same office with me. And I played it to Ferdy and T, and he said, we were going to rehearse it with the boys. When you go and see them, you're going to go in and do it. And that's what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, when you think about it, you've gone from R&B soul, even kind of gospel, to this type of, some people even associate with, Motown, because you had that Motown sound to a degree, but it wasn't Motown sound, but it wasn't Motown, but that Motown.
It was in between Stax.
It wasn't actually,
and pop.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a Motown. Just kind of they framed it, but it was the sound of the time. But Motown framed it, and now you've got this kind of disco thing going on, right? Which is house, dance, EDM, which brings back that Motown, that disco, that funk sound, I mean, and you're appealing to the young ones again, like you're always appealing to the young ones again, and it's amazing. I mean, where do you see, what would be the ultimate thing for the Flirts, do you think, Shirley? What would you think would be the ultimate thing?
I really would like for this song to be a hit, and where we become bigger than what we were before, and other people could enjoy something that we've done for them especially.
Yeah, what about you, Ernestine?
I would like to see the Flirts having a bit more success. I think the first time round there was a little success, but not enough. I think it had to do with a lot of situations, management and promotion. I mean, because when Nothing But a Heartache was released and it started to get in the charts in America, we were under contract over here to work. So now we're free. We'll be able to promote everything and maybe have the success that I think that we deserve. I think we deserve a little bit more, really.
What about you, Viola?
I'm happy where we've been. I think it doesn't say, I don't think, we don't come here with it mapped out saying it's going to happen here, here, here. You'd be surprised. You just hang in there and do what you love, enjoy what you're doing. And when it does, then that door does open, you're ready to walk through it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And again, it's like about Time, how that came about. The same thing happened with this particular song that we just finished with you. It's amazing. And the same thing happened with the album that we just completed. We have a new album that we haven't told you
And
about.
it's still telling us that it's time.
It feels different now. I mean, like you've been in our lives before, now you're back. It seems like things are turning around and people are coming back, and I think maybe now it's the time for something different to happen.
Yeah.
I
well,
think the time is now.
my mama always said the race is not for the swift, it's for the short.
Yeah.
So it's not about who dips in and dips out.
Yeah.
It's who stays the journey at the
Yeah.
end of the day. And that's what I look for. And, you know, we're going to make no bones about it. We got a track coming out called Make It Rain.
Yes.
And that's going to be coming out soon, but we're not going to say more than that. So just get ready for Make It Rain. And then your album is called?
We're giving it a name?
No, we haven't given it a name.
You haven't given it a name, but when can we expect it?
What did we say? What's the song? What's the song that the guys that I came to you with? Back on
Back on track.
track.
Back-
Maybe.
Maybe back on track.
I think
Maybe
back on track.
Or
yeah.
say it now.
Yeah.
Back on track
we're
with
not
is
sure.
how we got into the
Well,
studio.
we like different ones, so.
Right.
As a group.
Yeah.
We got into the studio with Back on Track.
Okay.
And that was the excitement that came with the whole project.
Right.
That we were actually going to go in and actually do a full album, which is, yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
good.
so we'll see.
Except for
Things-
Ian Levine, if we had to compile all of Ian Levine things together, it would have been an album. Including
Yeah, but-
your stuff. But
Yeah.
this is a complete album written
Yeah.
especially for the Flirt.
And we've written loads of the songs ourselves, so that's, you know.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you, Vi,
Pleasure.
Ernestine,
My pleasure.
Shirley.
Thank
The Flirtations in the house, y'all, and get ready for Make It Rain and possibly Back on Track coming out in the next, several months from the Flirtations and others, okay? Thank you guys for
Thank you.
taking the time.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.